everyone. Welcome to the Credit Direct podcast. It's your host, Oilola. And today with me are really amazing people. All my guests are amazing, but you see this set of people on my left, on my right, they are quite amazing people. And I am not saying this lightly, I'm saying this with regards to the topic that we have today, which is when borrowing backfires. And in today's podcast, we'll be talking about real stories, deep confessions, and what really happens when borrowing backfires. But sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, so I'll be handing over to my guests to introduce themselves so that you get to know them as I do. And I'll be starting with, they say ladies first. So over to you.
Thanks, Oye. My name is Oluwatofumi Akindele, what everybody calls me Tofumi. I work at Credit Direct. I'm in the legal team.
The law. You see her in public, just shout the law.
No, don't shout the law, please.
So, I'm not waiting for her to say I should introduce myself. That's how men are treated in the society. But anyway, my name is Demola Badejo. They call me Demola. I
Of
work with
Lagos.
risk management. Yeah. Yes,
The
risk
law,
management.
the risk, the
Yeah.
balance.
Yes.
Anyway, so today's podcast, we're coming from the angle of the law and also from the angle of risk in order to talk about when borrowing backfires, because at different points in time we would have experienced this. Anyway, let's just get right into it. So we have a number of money confessions which will then guide our conversations today, and then we'll just take it from there. So the first one is interesting because it reminds me of a very recent incident. But let me just say it first. So it says, yeah, the person said, I borrowed money to invest, but the opportunity disappeared. Now I'm left with debts and no returns. So now this why I say it reminds me of something similar is at least everybody knows Cibex. A number of people actually borrowed money to put
To
into
invest.
Cibex. So I mean, I think do you know anybody? I know people personally, but
No,
I
don't.
don't.
Funny
You don't know
enough, I
anybody
don't know.
personally.
We
My
didn't even.
circle, we don't do investment.
No, I didn't even know. Actually, I didn't know about CBEX until it crashed.
Ah.
So it was the crash that now made me know about it. So
Oh, wow, actually.
So my question is, this person that borrowed money and then it didn't materialize, did the person bother to even attempt to return the money immediately?
Those are the questions. Oh.
Honestly,
no, but when
if
you borrowed money to invest and then the investment went with the investment,
Exactly.
where will you see money
so,
to
so,
repay?
so there are smarter way to borrow money to invest, right? It takes a lot of unit economics, and you borrow money to invest. Don't rely on the investments on your repayment, right? You should look for another source to repay. There's a reason why we call it investment. It's not like you are expecting it to materialize on a monthly basis. Imagine you borrowing money and then you have a repayment to come on a monthly basis. If your repayment is annual, I can say you can just dive into it and say go and borrow money. Then annually you cash out and you pay. But if it's monthly, it will affect you psychologically. It will make your budget leak. It will stretch you. And then so someone like me that I earn 183,000 naira now, I borrowed 5 million naira to invest, and then I'm repaying.
Please don't listen to him. We pay well at Credit Direct.
And then I'm repaying 150,000 naira, right, on an investment on a monthly basis. My other bills are going to suffer. So I don't think it's a smart choice to borrow money to go and invest. So there are other ways you can borrow money. Personally, for me, even if you don't want to come to a Credit Direct, you can look for your guys and borrow money. But in Credit Direct, as we say, we enable peace of mind, right? There are ways we can treat you right if you want to borrow money for investment. But again, our system is smart. You have reasons when you are online, you want to borrow money, if it's schooling, if it's personal, and that is why we did not provide that field that has investment that you are borrowing money to invest. So
my own concern is, except what you do for a living is maybe you invest a lot and maybe at that point you were not liquid enough and that's why you have to borrow. But I don't understand why you are borrowing to invest, because for you to be borrowing to invest, that means you have not even, what's the English of you have not John Kanu?
You are not fit to the brain.
You have not.
This situation is actually a dicey one, right? Because and I'm saying this because rich people borrow. Someone like an Aliko Dangote can borrow.
No, yes, that's why I said if you actually invest, like investing is, for example, let's take MD Chooks, you know that Chooks actually does a lot of investment, because I think there was a particular strategy session where he was talking about the positives of investing and encouraging us. And he was saying a lot of things that in my head, I've never even heard about them before. And he was even saying that it's not like he has not lost money. He has lost money. But you know that, okay, yes, that's his field. And if he goes ahead to even borrow to invest, he's liquid enough. Even if that investment does not materialize, doesn't get return on investment immediately, if it takes a while, even if his shares and the shares are floating or things like that, there's a backup. He's not relying he's not seeing investment as investment is not immediate ROI return on. It's not investment for him is something in the future, something that maybe even for himself may not even benefit. It may even be an investment in trust. Yes, you get. But I think a lot of people see investment as money making. I need to make money now. And that's why they would go ahead to borrow, because they think that a return on investment is going to come immediately. And so before you discuss, and I always tell people, when it comes to money matters, don't rely on your own understanding. Talk with professionals. When you want to invest, you don't just, CBEX is not an investment.
Of course.
It seems so before it crashed.
It's a Ponzi.
It seems so before it crashed.
It's a
People were
Ponzi.
calling it
It's a serious
investment.
thing, because if another CBEX comes, let's say they call it DBEX,
People
would go. But then look at
It's
and it's because when the return on investment looks very juicy, very sweet, then you know that it's not an investment. As sweet as our yield is, the max you are going to get is 21% per annum. And that is if you are actually investing up to a year. And that is what's going to make you get 21% per annum. You get. So that is an investment. But if I know that, okay, someone is borrowing me the money and I have a moratorium of 6 months. Moratorium is I don't need to repay within a period of 6 months. I am free. I don't have any repayment obligations. Exactly. I can throw that money that I've borrowed into yield and lock it for 6 months. And then by the time I get my return on investment, I am getting my principal, I am getting my interest, I can return the money that I borrowed, and I have made money on that borrowing. The only sad part is that the person that borrowed me the money did not know that I used it to make money. That person has lost money, because the value of the money when they borrowed you is not the same value.
And that's what you are returning.
The person to give you the money, the person actually has the money to give. Because one thing I would always tell people is, before you borrow somebody money, ensure that, okay, this is actually money that you can
People are humanitarian.
To let go.
If I want to, I know you and I are not close, but let me give an example. If you and I were very, very close and all that, and then I come to meet you and I say, I'm a Christian, sorry. My mom's enemy is very sick. I cannot say my mom's enemy
you can
is
use
very...
your rent
yes, and my rent is very, very due. And they're about to kick me out and all that and stuff. And every time, the reason I work late in the office is because I'm running away from my landlord. I don't want him to see me and all that and stuff. And then you are like, oh, how much do you have? I was like, oh, my rent is maybe 1.5 and I have 1 million. And then you give me the 500.
Have money in Lagos, so
you give me the I know exactly. His rent is probably in 3M. It's 3M versus. And then you give me the 500,000. But you don't even know, maybe I'm even lying to you. Probably I've paid the rent already. But I had to maybe break my yield to pay the rent. And I'm like, oh no, I need to get this one. And then you borrow me the money you get, saying that, okay, you're helping me. And because the kind of borrowing that we do this between peer-to-peer borrowing, there's no repayment, there's no monthly repayment, it's just, okay, when will you give me back the money? And then you collect the money, and then I've used my own smartness in order to gain more money. And then I just put the money and I'm like, oh, okay, don't worry, just give me 6 months to recoup this. By the time I save from my salary. But because I have that money interest-free, no monthly repayment obligations. And even from my salary gone safe, I am removing money to be investing in yield on a monthly basis. Probably I put it in flex, I put it in fixed yield. By the time I come back, I have your 500,000, I have the money I've been putting, and I have my interest. And then you just get your 500,000 naira. So that's a smart way to borrow
So
money
all
to
these things we are
invest.
saying, me, I have. So Tofu, if I come to you now that you should borrow me 3 million, you will not borrow me.
There's no borrowing. I know what it plans to do with the money. You want to become rich. You're even rich already.
Okay.
But I think we can take away from this conversation is that when investing, make sure that or when borrowing to invest, make sure that you're actually borrowing for a long-term investment,
Yeah.
not an immediate
100%.
return form of investment. The thing about this Ponzi scheme, some people will benefit.
So
But the bulk
I don't know.
of people will
It's
be the
like
ones to suffer.
I have a mentor that explained how it works, and he said, and I quote, that they are like this. This is where they are going to. When they are here, they will pay back everything they want to pay back. But the day they get here, they shut down. So they are not losing anything. So then probably I was here, right? And I made my money and I left. I didn't go back. People that waited or that stuck with them till they got here and
No, I know a lady
I'm not
that
encouraging anyone.
and
to
I know a
join
lady
them,
that
I'm
did
just-
it, and it was the returns that she got on MMM. That's what she used to travel, and this was far back as 2017.
17, 15.
So
16,
to even
yeah.
travel out of the country was pretty much cheap.
Yeah.
It was MMM returns that she used to travel, and it was not long after she traveled that the whole thing crashed.
She's even encouraging him.
No. I didn't do it. I'm just corroborating your story because
my story-
she was the only
that's not my
person
story.
that I know that like probably maybe two people that I know that enjoyed. Every other person that was invested in that thing, they lost a lot of money. And guess what? I think maybe 2 or 3 months after there was one that came out and people still invested. And I'm like,
Yeah, people
I
will
was like,
invest.
people
will invest.
have hope. Oh.
I don't know if it's hope. Well, maybe it's hope.
It's part of it. It's part of it.
Anyway,
I like money too much.
they like money too.
No, I like to be seeing my money.
All right, let's just quickly go to the next money confession because it's been interesting so far, so that we don't end up spending all the year. So it says here that I got a soft loan from work, but forgot it was being deducted monthly. It kept messing up my budget, right? So, like that kind of person now, what do you want to say to someone like that? It's not bad to get a loan from work,
From your colleague.
right?
No, from work, like a staff
there are
loan.
companies
A staff
that give-
loan.
Yeah, staff loan.
How will you forget that you borrowed money? There are some of us.
People forget things as long as it's not about collecting.
Even our
But-
customers-
Remember when it's time
But
to
Even our
he's
customers
actually even
forget
very lucky that they are even deducting it from source.
But the person is actually in a mess now. Let's say because he keeps forgetting that they are.
So Tofumi, this person has a budget, right? So let me go back to what I said earlier. The same figure. I earn 183, I'm repaying 150, and I'm left with that kind of money, and they are deducting 150. It messes up my budget. It's going to affect me. Even on my desk, it's going to affect me. I've been into a thrift before in this organization. I wanted to die. I'm not even
What
joking.
happened? Tell us the story.
You see, join their thrift at your own risk. The day
So,
they told me the amount, I was like,
our
if it was
thrift-
my salary,
Our
I was
thrift-
earning 200,000. They told me thrift is 100,000.
our thrift, right? We had AGM, we had senior manager. I was an assistant officer. I was earning way less, and I dived into it. And guess what? We were 9. I took number 2.
Okay.
Trust me, anytime they pay, I don't even look forward to 22nd because anytime they pay salary, you see that WhatsApp group, I get a notification, and the notification will not greet you to tell you good afternoon, good evening. No, they will just drop account number. Oyinlola Lawal 5233. You know, I will now start. I now notice that I start transferring 70% of my salary
How did you
to
survive?
someone.
Just in
Honestly,
case
I
someone
can't
like you is
tell.
in that situation.
Right? Honestly, I can't tell. I don't want people to find themselves in that situation. The stupid, the silliest thing you can do is to go and borrow money again to settle that particular loan. That is very silly. Then it stretches you. You will now notice that. So I don't advise anyone, when you want to get a loan, know that you want to use this loan for something reasonable. I want to pay my school fees. Yes, I can get a loan to pay my rent. It's my rent. I'm not going to sleep under the bridge. I'm not going to get a loan to say I want to get married. and hoping that people will come from Credit Direct and
spray
spray
you.
me. What if they don't spray me money? What happens?
What if EFCC comes and says that they must not spray?
And say they must not spray.
Or what
And
if
all
they
of
spray
that.
and somebody steals your money?
So there are some, honestly, it happens. Honestly,
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, it happens. So I really do not advise people to say, I want to borrow money. According to your question, he got a soft loan and he forgot.
No, I think no. I'm going to glean from what you are saying. When it comes to money decisions, finance decisions, people have to be smarter about it. And it's not. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be book smart. You have to have gone to school.
You have to be street smart.
Street smart. There's a smartness to borrowing. But what I would always encourage is people should actually they should have financial smartness, money smartness. Maybe they should go and read Smart Money Woman. I'm not endorsing.
So the flip side, right? I think there was a time I've borrowed before from the lending space, and it was once, and it came out not bad, but I like the experience, and that's why I said the flip side of what you are saying. I used to borrow from my friends, my sister. Sometimes I don't pay back, especially when it's my sister, or my mom, or my dad. I run away. So one day I used to borrow from one of my egbon. He works in the back industry. He's very liquid. Egbon, 1 million. This. I always go to him and I pay him back because I know he's not my family. I know. So one day we were having a drink and I said, Egbon, please, can I see? Actually, sorry, I'm in 2 million. And when I borrow money like that, I'm an investment tycoon, not all these CBEX. I buy landed properties. I know it's going to yield maybe 2x in 6 months. I pay you back. I steal my land or something. And you get there. so then, exactly for me, need 2 million. Then give me 2 million naira. And he said, Demola, I know what you do. There's this app. Then he brought out his phone. Right, I'm going to be very discreet about the lending organization. I say, download the app. I downloaded it. That is where I get money. You to borrow money, and I borrowed that 2 million naira. First month I paid. The second month I paid. It was for 24 months. I was not wise enough. 2 years. Then he got to the 6th month. I was already fatigued. I was stretched in my head. What is happening? I bought the land. Right, I had to go back, sell the land. Guess what? I paid back like 3.1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right, from that 2 million. What did this teach me? When you have access to people, don't push it. Because, you can always borrow from a Tofumi, then you always go to Tofumi. And you pay Tofumi the 1 million naira back. You not even look at Tofumi and say, let me buy you lunch. And no, sometimes we need to go through that route. We need to have that experience, that education. That is very crazy out there when it comes to you borrowing money. You need to appreciate a Tofumi that you always run to, and you collect 1 million naira. Then in 3 days or in 3 years, you will still pay Tofumi 1 million naira.
So even though it is a soft loan, when you are taking a loan, you are not just taking a loan because you want to, at the back of your head, yes, you're like, I want to meet an immediate need and all that. But once you're also calculating, you should also be calculating, what is the repayment? How is this repayment going to affect my budget? How is this going to affect the money that comes into me? Will I step down this for this in order to accommodate this? How long can I stretch this for? What if I don't have a salary increase?
Yeah.
What if I don't have additional means of income and stuff? So before you take a loan, yes, please, but you have to think about it. Because the repayment it's not just about taking a loan. Repayment is, because a lot of people forget that once you don't repay, your name is going to reflect on credit registry. It spoils your credit score. It spoils your credit score, and it doesn't just it doesn't put you in a good light.
All right. So yes, for the next confession, says that I helped a friend process a loan in my name. She defaulted.
Of course, they would default.
The repayment is not coming from them now.
Of course, now.
We as humans, originally, I don't want to pay back. It's just my intention.
Exactly. Nobody wants to pay back a loan.
No, you don't. You actually
No,
don't.
that is you. You know yourself.
It's just the integrity and your name, right? And that's the only reason why people come out to say, "Oh, let me just pay this loan," so they don't come to my office.
See,
and all of that.
I'm going to give people a tip. If someone comes to meet you and says, please, can I borrow money in your name? Just know that person has defaulted in minimum 2
I
organizations.
agree with
Because why
Tofu.
don't you have your
200%.
phone?
No,
No,
the
200%.
person
No,
has
it's
no,
not
the
that.
person has defaulted, and the reason why the person cannot take another loan is because is either they have defaulted, they've not
Or you don't have a
repaid.
good scoring model.
Yes, they've not.
Fiscal
So
score or
any
something.
money that comes into their account, they know that it's going to be swept.
Spanish.
Exactly. Or they don't have a good credit score, so their name is coming up on credit bureau,
Bad person,
that
bad
kind of thing.
person.
Or they're already overburdened.
Actually.
So they've taken plenty loans from maybe different organizations. Their debt, what's the debt
Debt to income ratio.
is really terrible.
Yeah.
They cannot take additional loan. So when they come to meet, you should just know that that person is going to put you in trouble. And I'm talking from 2 examples. One is a personal one. Someone came to meet my mom to say, "Oh, please."
Are you sure it wasn't you?
No, it wasn't me.
Are you sure?
I didn't. I was not even in university then,
Okay.
and that was what caused the end of their friendship. Now,
It's you, definitely.
yeah,
Yes,
because
it
my
messes up
mom had to
relationships,
write
yeah.
post-dated checks for the
And
person.
they were presenting it.
Of course, they presented the post-dated checks because
And you
you
returned
have to put the post-dated checks in to be able to get the loan.
Yes,
Like that
sure.
post-dated checks, like your security,
Yeah.
you get. And then the person did not repay. My mom had to take, and if you know, my mom was working with Lagos State. If you know, like by the time they do people that work with Lagos State, like by the time they do deductions here and there, you will see that somebody that is a chief something is earning probably less than 100K or
30K.
taking home 30. So my mom was burdened and she said never again. And me, I was a child then, I couldn't tell her. I wanted to say, who sent you? You are doing friendship. And then there was another one. So this one, they even had to invite us to the police station and stuff. The guy, of course, was overburdened. You get, and then he recruited his friend. He told his friend, "Oh, please take a loan." And he didn't just take a loan in the guy's name from one organization. He took a loan in the guy's name from like 12 organizations. You remember that case now? It was not long after I joined Credit Direct.
I don't remember.
Wait,
From like 12.
I mean, you already had the guy's details. You have
Yes.
to be asking.
I
So
remember the
and
case. I was just
yeah.
sarcastic.
So and the thing is, he applied for the loan in one day, like within 24 hours, one day and
I
the
think
next
it
day.
was 48
So
hours then.
yeah, so credit bureau had not yet been updated,
You know,
had not
we
been
get this
uploaded.
updates. There's a time frame, not 48 hours for credit
So
bureau to update.
of course, the guy did not get salary because everybody was deducting short. His salary was in minus.
I imagine the state of mind. Like,
And because of that, Oracle had to stop payments of salary because they felt there was something fishy. And
Yeah.
then they escalated the matter to police station. And at the end of the day, police was trying to blame us, KYC, this. But we're like, this money entered. Oh, yeah, bring bank statement. The guy confessed. He said as money was entering his account, he was sending it to his friend. Of course, his friend has already jackpot. The DPO looked at him and said, "You're a mumu."
No, he was sending it by himself.
He was sending it by himself to his friend.
That's love.
oh, his wife.
As for me, I don't think it's going to stop. We just need to keep educating people. I don't see
And
any
people
sense
should-
in it when
people
you come to
should-
me and say I should borrow money on your
Your
behalf
behalf.
when you have a name, right?
That should be, we should not, red flags are not just only for relationships.
Yeah.
Red flags, when someone comes to you and tells you, please don't, please borrow money, I want to borrow money in your name. That is a
you
very
cannot
huge red flag.
borrow money in my name.
I cannot even borrow money in my mother's name. I cannot borrow my
That's
mother.
sad.
No, I cannot borrow name.
You will do that. You will do that for me, right?
Let me just borrow in my name.
Borrow in your name and transfer to me, just like the case.
What will be cared?
Do you want me to sing it for you?
All right, okay, so let's just quickly move on to the last
Yeah.
confession. Yeah, this person is not serious.
Do not judge. Do not judge.
Please read it out. I might know the person. I will mention the person's name. if I know the person.
Do not judge. This is a safe space,
The person
please.
said, I took a loan to stay ready for emergencies, but use it for impulse shopping instead. So the person tell us what they bought. The person buying PS5.
No, the person has 2 problems. The person, I think the person needs to see a psychiatrist or therapist.
PS5 is it.
No,
I mean,
you
it's an
say
asset
you don't.
though.
No, wait. No, what I'm looking at, I'm
People
not
have
even looking
stolen
at the
people's boyfriend
PS5.
with PS5.
I'm not even looking at the PS5. I'm looking at 2 major things here.
Okay.
You don't have any pressing need. You just feel like borrowing.
Do you think PS5 is
No, let's put the PS5 aside. Let's put the PS5. Let's put the PS5 aside. You don't have any pressing need. There's nothing. They're not calling you from your village or anything. But the village call you are picking is the village call of you just be collecting bases like they've
So those are the
they
low
have
private
sworn
guys
for
I spoke
you.
about. Some
And then
people,
that is one problem. Then you now have a problem of impulse spending. Instead of you to go and cure your impulse spending problems. Because even on your salary, you're not supposed to be doing impulse
but
spending.
to for me. So truth be told, I have a friend, and I don't know. Maybe when she sees this, she will know she's the one I'm talking about. She said, and I quote, and I know apart from that, she said, when she's sad, when she's in a mood, the only thing that can take her out of that mood or out of that box is when she starts shopping. Right.
See,
Hold on now.
I totally understand. I
Hold
do
on
it.
now.
I don't
Tofu
shop.
me,
I
Tofu me.
window
I'm not
shop.
done. No. No, Tofu.
And then the anticipation of buying and clearing my cart
She
makes me happy.
selects add to cart, checkout, and pay. And then we get back to wherever we are going to and say, Demon, I don't have money again. Are you happy? Are you out of that box? That dark sinking place. Are you out of there? Say yes. You've achieved something. And then she go back and guess what? She does not even borrow money to do all these things. So now I'm trying to relate it to someone that does not like the fact that she has 1,000 naira or he has 1,000 naira in her account. Someone like me, I have like 1,000 naira left in my account, right? And then you find yourself in a dark sinking place. And then the only remedy you have to lift yourself up from that space is to start selecting
I think
checkouts.
no. You go
See,
for
we have a
therapy.
buy now, pay later, guys. A checkout process. If you find yourself in this category,
Yes, and I'm totally all for it, but I don't think it's a good. It's not. It doesn't make for good financial habit to have number one impulse spending. Even if you do impulse spending, I don't think it should be something that is recurrent.
yeah.
It can be once in a while. See, we work hard for this money. Some people have been up since only God knows what time. Some people are still going to go through traffic. You work hard, spend this money on yourself. Sometimes that PS5 that you have been eyeing, buy it. Sometimes it's that bag, buy it. Impulse spending, sometimes you don't have to be calculated.
Buy PS5 for me.
You have a wife. You can. It's not all the time that you need to be calculated. All the time you are calculated on your spending. Yes, it's a good thing to be calculated. But there are some times, just for the fun of it, that suya that you just pass by them all the time. Don't even let us talk about the big things. You're always passing in front of that suya stand, but you're like, if I should buy this suya, Mama, I would walk to Obalende tomorrow. Just one day. Maybe you happen to have 2,000 naira. Just buy the 1,000 naira suya and enjoy yourself. You may even not walk to Obalende. Someone might lap you.
Might, yeah.
It's actually very important.
But
Budgeting is not about saying you must not spend on anything.
Exactly.
Apportion funds to each of this and say, okay, this month I can only afford 5K for maybe impulse spending or vanity buying.
Borrowing money in preparation for impulse buying. I know, please see a
You're
therapist.
doing impulse buying and you repay. It's not a big deal.
Anyway, so for people that have been in this situation, people that are in debt here and there, because of people like you, we created a particular tool. It's very free. In fact, it's absolutely free. It's called a debt tracker and it's available on our. In fact, you can just click on the link in our bio and you get to download it free of charge. So when you download this debt tracker, it helps you to stay on track. You impute how much you owe, who you owe, and also just helps you to measure your progress. So at the end of the day, you are able to get out of debt faster. So it was really beautiful having both of you.
Thank you
I look
for
forward to inviting you people again, and I hope you that
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Stephanie.
Rin. Thank you. Thank you. We actually enjoyed it. I didn't know I was going to have this much fun.
Bye.
Bye.